I'm supposed to be some kind of YouTube Pokemon expert, right? But I've never even finished a Pokemon Nuzlocke challenge. I've never even tried before. I've traveled across all the regions of the Pokemon world, collected all the gym badges, caught lots of Pokemon, but I've been so scared to fail that I've never even tried. So feeling nostalgic, I busted out my copy of Alpha Sapphire. And yes, I say nostalgic because Alpha Sapphire came out 7 years ago, and set off to do my first bird-only Nuzlocke. No, not flying type only, bird-only Nuzlocke, because I'm a bird keeper. Let's see if I can soar high in Hoenn. So, straight out of the gate, opening cutscene is absolutely beautiful, showing the original version from Ruby Sapphire and then evolved into this new version for Oras. I've moved to the Hoenn region where I meet my rival May in Little Root Town, and she tells me to find the lovely Professor Burge, who is in trouble and offers me a selection of one of 3 Pokemon to help him. Obviously, I choose the only correct option here, Mudkip, which... Oh wait, this is bird only. Swampert has wings? Fins? Can Swampert not be a bird? Ugh, okay, I choose Torchic, which is the only bird available to me. And with this being Alpha Sapphire, again, this is an added level of challenge, because Alpha Sapphire focuses on Team Aqua and Kyogre. It's got that big focus on there being too much water, and this is a little fire chick called Katsuka. However, we begin our adventure together around Hoenn. I'm confident we'll be able to take on this challenge. And Hoenn actually has a whole host of bird Pokemon, and one which I overlook commonly is Wingull. It is everywhere in the Hoenn region. I called one and called it Penguin, and knowing that against the first and second Pokemon gym, Penguin would actually be really useful to use. See, the first gym is a rock type gym, and so is therefore strong against both flying and my fire type starter. I was also determined not to over-level my Pokemon, not allowing my Pokemon's level to exceed the level of the gym leader, meaning I wouldn't be able to evolve Katsuka. So Wingull's water move would be invaluable to helping me get that first gym badge. There was another potential option for a water grass type bird, and you might think, what do you mean a water grass type bird? Well, a lot of us talked about whether Lotad would count. This is really because Lombre has a beak, and on my evolution tree of life, Lombre does live with the bird Pokemon, but I just don't feel that it's bird enough. There's a couple Pokemon in this run through that kind of sit on that line. Another one people asked about would be Magmar, but for me, Magmar, again, it's just not quite bird enough. It's fine. It's not even really something I have to worry about in this run through, but Lombre was a no-go, so too was Lotad. I did, of course, have one more option before even hitting Petalburg Woods, which was a Taillow, which I called Flutter. And between the 3 of these Pokemon, I already had the beginning of what I thought was going to be a pretty good and varied team. Now, with the gym being a rock-type gym and being super effective against basically everything I had, I knew I'd have to lead with Wingull. So after a little bit of training, I went in, bravely, knowing my water-type Wingull would be able to take out the entirety of the gym. And then this happened. That did nothing. No! Penguin! Penguin! Oh, that's bad. That's like really bad. That's like horrendously bad. Penguin was just the first casualty of the Nuzlocke. I was in a position here where it was Nosepass versus 2 Pokemon that I didn't want to lose. I also had deliberately not over-leveled myself, so I wasn't going to be able to just sweep here. It really felt like the Nuzlocke could end right here at the first gym. I was beginning to regret the decision to not over-level my Pokemon, but you can see the timecode of this video. You know it doesn't end here, and that's because I sent in Flutter. I decided that if either of my remaining Pokemon, Katsuka or Flutter, were going to die, Flutter was the one that needed to faint. I could catch another Taillow, but I could not catch another Torchic. And at this point in the game, Flutter still has the low-level move Growl, which I use to lower Nosepass's physical offense dramatically, and physical offense is all Nosepass really has. With lowered attack, I was able to survive so many of its moves and heal up with Potion, and then combined together, my 2 Pokemon, Flutter and Katsuka, were able to win us our first gym badge. And this was just one of the first times that Flutter came in super clutch. Feeling pumped about winning my first gym badge, I traveled on to Dewford Town, and you know what? There's no story beat here. It's a fighting gym. I aced it. Katsuka evolved, and I completely dominated my way through the second gym. Nothing of note happened. This was just a string of trainers that I was super effective against. On my way to Marvel Gym, I went on one of the routes I hadn't caught a bird on before, and I caught yet another Wingull to replace the one lost. There is a sort of species clause in Nuzlocke, but if you've lost a team member, then you can, I believe, catch another replacement team member. So, with Wingull everywhere in the Hoenn region, I knew that I'd always have a Wingull somewhere on the team. This one is Cerebi.net, who isn't going to be particularly helpful for the third gym, because the third gym comes jam-packed with electric Pokemon who are going to be strong against my flying types, and Magneton is an incredibly powerful Pokemon. And while yes, I had fighting type moves that could help, the rest of my team, especially Cerebi.net, would really suffer here, if Cerebi.net survived that far. Because before I could get ahead of myself, Team Aqua stopped me in the museum and things got intense. Ooh. This is chilled out. No! No! Why would you allow me? I clearly misclicked! I used the Soda Pop to heal the wrong Pokemon, and this misclick cost me Cerebi.net, an irreplaceable part of my team. Spoiler warning, I'm totally going to replace it with more than one Wingull in the future. As I was coming to the end of my first stream, I also had a rival battle to worry about, and this rival battle has a bit of a reputation for being particularly tough. For me, this was the battle that was going to determine whether I was actually going to be able to do this Nuzlocke or not. And honestly, it went really well. I took out May and felt very confident, and while I knew that the upcoming gym would be electric type, I put down my DS for the night and felt good about the future. For Session 2, I was streaming it on my birthday, actually, and I swept through both Wally and the gym as a nice little birthday present, as well as vet trainers on all the various surrounding routes. I also evolved my Swellow, so with Flutter nice and strong, I was feeling confident. I made it all the way up to the northmost part of the Hoenn region, and there, on the Ash-Fallen route of 113, I found Skarmory, a Pokemon that I named 614 upon catching it, as that was the time that I was born, apparently. All was going well until a new challenger approached. CandyEvie had come to join the battle live for birthday celebrations with me and decided to take over the stream. Despite the fact that she knew I really wanted to add a Swablu to my team, Lucy threatened the death of the only and first Swablu we were going to be able to encounter right now. Kindly, she didn't do that and gifted me Q-Tip as a birthday present. She then proceeded to risk killing it almost right away while battling Team Aqua in the Meteor Falls, and after that I needed to take a breath and recover, and also go enjoy birthday celebrations. So Session 3 was a bit calmer. I made my way quite nicely through Mount Chimney's Team Aqua battles, and then Flannery, as well as all of the other trainers in Western Hoenn, and at this point of the game, I felt pretty overpowered. Katsuka evolved into a Blaziken, and this is normally a point where in the original games, if I was going home to battle Norman, I would be absolutely terrified. Norman's slacking is famously tough with that facade move, but here my Blaziken completely sweeped it, allowing me to completely destroy the first half of the game. I turned off the experience share, now knowing the game was probably going to get a little bit harder for me anyway. And that's fine, that's what I'm doing in Nuzlocke 4, I wanted the challenge. And I also knew with most of Western Hoenn complete, and now with Surf, I could finally travel to where my true enemies were. Across the sea. As soon as Surf was available, I gave it to my HM employee, who I haven't really mentioned to this point. This is 3000. It's my Linoon, who's a sort of unpaid intern of the team, just there to use HM moves, really. And we surfed across the ocean to Eastern Hoenn, where the fun could really begin. And I immediately got slapped with one of the key differences between a Mega Ruby Alpha Sapphire and the original games. In Oras, they give you a Latias as well as Mega Evolution partway through the game. This may be why they deem Oras to be an easier Nuzlocke, and at first I was reluctant to add Latias to the team, but people decided Latias was in fact a bird. And that's fair, it has a move called Mistball which causes feathers to appear on the battlefield, so we decided that yes, regular Latias, absolutely a bird, but Mega Latias not. I wouldn't be able to Mega Evolve it if I wanted to continue to claim it was a bird, because at that time, it's more of a jet plane. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? I named Latias Bird Plane, and I thought it might be overpowered, but actually I was wrong. It wouldn't even survive until the end of the next gym. But we'll get to that. Now with Mega Evolution available, I was able to give Mega Evolution to Blaziken. Oh, I also caught Wingull number 3, Pudge. While already having 5 gym badges and having beaten Norman being this really big symbolic victory, the big battle I was really worried about was another bird keeper, Winona, the flying type gym leader. I evolved Q-Tip into Altaria and wanted to give it some better moves, and while training it, something happened that changed the dynamic of this entire run through. Swellow got burnt. Now Swellow's got an ability called Guts, so when it's got a status move like Paralysis or Burn or Poison, its moves deal double damage. And that's huge because Swellow can also learn learn the stab-boosted physical move, and it is a physical attacker, called Facade, which also does more damage if you're inflicted by a status condition. Now, while I had nothing on my team that would be able to give Swellow burn, which usually does a little bit of damage every turn in exchange for the loss of attack power, which it would gain again because of Guts, in this run through, I could give Skarmory Toxic. I entered a rematch double battle and used Toxic from Skarmory onto Swellow. Now, this activated the Guts ability, but Swellow was harshly poisoned. However, at the end of the battle, that poison just becomes regular poison. At this point, all I'd have to do was only heal up using potions and hyper potions, and just making sure not to use the Pokemon Center at all. If I use the Pokemon Center, of course the poison will be lost, and I'll have to find another double battle to rematch, which isn't the end of the world, but it would be a lot of effort. So I'd be visiting the Pokemon Center a lot less from here on out. You might think it would be risky to lose a little bit of health every turn thanks to poison, but given how fast Swellow moved between Facade and Aerial Ace and Quick Attacks, my Swellow just absolutely dominated Winona's gym. Of course, as I mentioned, Latias wouldn't survive the whole way through and ultimately fainted to the pursuit of a Dodrio. It's not the case at all. So that's my thing. Oh, 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 oh! Certainly, Latias, I'll catch another one. At this point, my team was beginning to feel pretty stacked. Katsuka, Fluttered, 614, and Q-Tip. They were all powerhouses. Pudge unfortunately fainted to a random trainer's Milotic. Who has a random Milotic? In the rain, by the way, but I managed to survive and make my way to Mount Pyre, where in Lily Cove I was able to get the Mega Stone for Altaria. Now, I already had the Mega Stone for Blaziken, so Mega Options, baby! And at this point, there weren't many more bird Pokemon left that I could have access to. Some people suggested Tropius. This isn't a bird. There was also the discussion about whether Claydol was an owl, and I know that might confuse a lot of people. Let's just Google it. There you go. Now you can't unsee that. But after having 3 Wingulls lost, I did pick up a Pelipper and called it Peck. Swellow, being the boss that it was, took us through the Team Aqua hideout where we got hold of the Master Ball. Very, very nice. And then we headed off to the 7th Pokemon gym, and once again, Swellow completely destroyed. At this point, I was feeling so confident that I would actually do it, that I'd actually finish my first Nuzlocke. The lineup that I've got to get through now is as follows. Team Aqua and Archie. Kyogre, then Wallace, then the Elite Four, and then the champion. So the final stretch was beginning. And to be honest, Team Aqua were not putting up their best fight because we decimated the base. My next concern was Kyogre, because it reverts into Primal Kyogre, giving it a huge power boost. And lots of people said, well, why don't you just catch it? And unfortunately, those are definitely fins. They're not wings. I can't justify catching it here, and running doesn't work. I'd have to absolutely wipe it out to get through. So I sent out Skarmory, a Pokemon with Toxic, just hoping that I could kind of stall this fish to death, that I'd be able to heal up and potion spam and allow Toxic to wipe out this Pokemon. But there was a problem. I forgot that I was fighting a box art legend, and this was the real deal. I swapped into Swellow to do as much damage as I could in one hit, and I managed to feint it, but I will not forget the loss of 614. It was a critical loss. Skarmory had been with me literally since my birthday, and it was a big member on the team. But ultimately, I was empowered. Its sacrifice wasn't in vain. The fact that Swellow could in one shot, more or less, wipe out a Primal Kyogre, I felt very confident about taking on whatever fish Wallace had to throw at me, and quite easily I did so, decimating his entire team as well. In Oras, something else new happens. Lots of Pokemon that aren't usually native to the home Pokedex start showing up after you beat Kyogre. So while soaring, I bumped into a Murkrow, which I caught and called Nimbus. I did try to evolve it, but unfortunately the Dusk Stone isn't reliably obtainable in this game, and I wasn't going to go hugely out of my way to try and evolve it. I thought this would help me though against Phoebe of the Elite Four, and actually all of my teammates were starting to see how they would blend in together with the Elite Four. Mega Altaria with its Fairy type could take on Drake, Katsuka could take on Sydney or Glacier or Steven. I was worried about Glacier because she does have a Wall Rain, and while Blaziken has the fighting moves to deal with its ice powers, its water powers could equal death for Blaziken. But while I was busy worrying about that, as I was traveling through Victory Road formulating a plan, I didn't realize that there was a threat dead ahead. Wally, you. the joke rival from early in the game. That's cute. He's got an Altaria. I have an Altaria too, and mine's Mega, so using its fairy powers, I didn't take any damage from its Dragon-type moves. I set up 6 Dragon Dances, and with the fairy power behind me, began the sweeping assault. Or at least I thought it would be a sweeping assault. Sturdy it has. Bit worried about Flash Cannon. I would avenge Q-Tip. I swept through the rest of his team in a furious rage, now just with 4 Pokemon on my team before the Elite Four. The pressure was on, and this was not okay. I needed to be calmed down, I needed to be soothed, but I was so angry, so devastated. There was only one sound in the whole Pokemon world that could calm me down. It belongs to a legendary bird. See, in ORAS, like I mentioned with Murkrow, after you get Primal Kyogre, certain other Pokemon appear, and there is a legendary bird that appears in Alpha Sapphire specifically, Lugia, the leader of the legendary birds. I had my Master Ball and I discussed it with the chat, and they decided that given that Lugia is weak to at least 2 of the Elite Four members, this wouldn't be too overpowered. So I went out of my way to go and catch Lugia. I did the side quest with the Deep Ski Scanner and then battled it, catching it with my Master Ball. I left the Sea Marvel and hit the button to soar and headed towards Evergrande City when then there was another Mirage area that appeared. The Mirage Island that's in the crescent moon shape, where yet another legendary bird sits. No, I'm not talking about Zapdos, Moltres, or Articuno. I'm talking about the croissant-shaped duck swan Pokemon Cresselia. And look, I really was reluctant to add yet another legendary Pokemon to the team, but I did a poll and everyone said, yeah, this is a bird. Biologically, I think it's probably closer related to a croissant, which is what I named it, and the Lugia cheese. But at least now I had a final team ready to go up against the Elite Four. Katsuka the Blaziken, Flutter the Swellow, Nimbus the Murkrow, Peck the Pelipper, Croissant the Cresselia, and Cheese the Lugia. 6 Pokemon and 5 trainers left to go. I did some prep work for the final stages, finding some TMs that I thought would be useful and giving them to my team. This was my first Nuzlocke, and I'd really come a lot further than I expected, to be honest. I genuinely expected to be out at this point. I will definitely play a harder Nuzlocke in the future, and actually there was a Nuzlocke before this. I've sort of lied a little bit. This isn't the first Nuzlocke I've ever attempted. There was 1 hour about 10 years ago where I was playing Pokemon Pearl version and I thought I'd give it a go. I took a Piplup and that Piplup fainted on Route 1. And that was the end of it. This is my first time getting this far through. I genuinely was put off Nuzlockes after that, thinking that they were just impossibly hard, and yet here I was, now at the gateway of the Elite Four. I'm enjoying myself, and I hope you're enjoying watching these challenge runs. I don't know what I'm going to do next, but I'm really just enjoying making these and putting these out into the world. Which, by the way, if you are enjoying, all I can say is just thank you. Please check out the other challenge runs that are linked in the description. The watch time on YouTube means a lot. It really helps my channel grow and keep on getting pushed out to new people, and also dropping a like or a comment on how you would have done things different. Again, always very much appreciated. Anyway, I had come all this way from Little Root Town with my Torchic and my Tailo to this place, to the Elite Four, and after a little bit of prep work, all went exactly as I hoped. Well, almost exactly. Sydney was first, and between speed boosts and power-up punches, Katsuka led the way through Sydney, with Flutter providing support. We defeated this first member of the Elite Four, and I was very relieved to find out that they don't use Megas in the first battle. Against Phoebe, it was Murkrow who did a lot of hard work, but actually Katsuka with Speed Boost and Protect and Blaze Kick helped destroy some of the later team members like Dusknoir. Then came Glacier, who was my biggest worry, with Walrein having its water type that's strong against Blaziken, but I managed to one-shot her with a Brick Break. My confidence boosted hugely. I can do this, I thought. Just 2 battles left to go. Drake was harder, and we lost some teammates. Poor timing and bad strategy lost me Peck, who, to be honest, I was using for a situation like this just to pivot around Pokemon. And then I also lost Nimbus, but that was fine because I was only using Nimbus to battle Phoebe anyway. But my remaining flock swooped in and proved that birds are actually better than dragons. Here we were. With 4 Pokemon left, we had made it all the way to the champion. I began with Cheese, who I managed to set up with 6 Calm Mines and completely destroy Skarmory. I thought, this is it, I'm gonna sweep, I'm gonna make my way through. Lugia really was busted, but Aggron survived a Hydro Pump with Sturdy and then hit me with a Stone Edge, taking Lugia out of the sky. And that was it. I was down to just 3 Pokemon. However, I used my knowledge of the fact that Steven was likely going to heal here to get off a power-up punch. Then I would protect to get a speed boost, and then I would begin to sweep. And one by one, they would fall. Katsuka would take out Aggron, Claydol, Cradily, and Armaldo, and there was just 1 Pokemon left between me and victory. And that was one of my favorite Pokemon in the whole world, and also a powerhouse. Mega Metagross. Realizing that this was the end of the Nuzlocke, and for the greater good of the Nuzlocke, I decided to make a choice. I chose the weaker move that had 100% accuracy, knowing that if Blaziken went down, Swellow could finish the job. It would be more risky if I chose a move that was stronger, but didn't have the accuracy. If I missed and something went wrong, I wasn't confident that Swellow could take out Metagross all by itself, and it went just like that. But it would not be in vain, because Swellow could come here and sweep in and use Facade, a move given to me by my own father to defeat Steven the champion and become the champion myself. Metagross fell. I was so happy. I had just 2 Pokemon left in my team, but I had done it. I had beaten the game. I had defeated my first Nuzlocke, and wait, what's my chat talking about? Sorry, what do you mean mid-credit battle? What? May, don't do this. Don't do this thing, May. I had completely forgotten that in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, there was 1 more battle that they had added into the game after the champion. A battle against your rival. Now, in the Hall of Fame, they had healed up my entire team, but it was decided here that I would be able to use just the 2 Pokemon that had survived the Nuzlocke. So only Flutter and Quasson to go. And for this, I'm just going to play you the battle. You can let me know in the comments whether you really feel like I beat this Nuzlocke or not. No! For this battle, I am only allowed to use 2 Pokemon, Quasson and Swellow. And I didn't give it Calm Minds. I didn't think I'd need it for Steven. I didn't know there was a May battle. Whatever. Oh, whatever. I'll kill you too, Raichu. You don't think I will? I will. I'll do it. We can win this. We can win this. And we will. We will win. No. She's toxic, really. The cargo, eh? Same deal. Same deal as a Raichu. Makes no difference to me. Nearly hit Aura Beam by accident there. You got nothing, mate. You got nothing. You can't beat this Swan. That would have been so good against Swellow. Swellow would have loved a Lava Plume. I wonder what Lava Plume's chance of burning is. Oh, I'm going to take a risk. I'm going to stop it a Flutter and hope that Lava Plume burns. Yes! Yes! May. Oh, May. Oh, May. You have done that yourself. Your death is your own undoing. Oh, May. I will use a Hyper Potion, though. We know how these things go. Oh, you've got a Swellow. Oh, sweet. Swellow's quite adorable, isn't it? Your one. My one. Oh, that's sweet. Okay. Mega Swampert. Yeah. So, Mega Swampert comes out. What do? Do I have Facade? Do I Aerial Ace? Because it comes Water Fighting type, right? If I'm not mistaken. It, like, gains a weakness. No, it's Water Crown. What am I talking about? What on earth am I talking about? That's just Facade. I think Mega Swampert is very cool. I also think I'm going to one-shot it. One shot, one kill. Oh! I didn't one-shot it. Flutter! Flutter. Go. Croissant! Destroy him! Destroy her! And with that, I had done it. I had completed my first ever Nuzlocke. Now, I chose a Mega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire 1 for the nostalgia, because it had been a while, and 2 because I looked up lists of Nuzlockes, and most people ranked ORAS relatively low, suggesting that it was a easier one to do. But I don't mind. The challenge in this was perfectly fun. I was able to tell a story, but also rewarding. That said, I don't know whether now the next step is to jump the full distance and go for the most difficult ranked Nuzlockes, or whether it's to try a different challenge. If there's a specific sort of non-hacked, non-randomized challenge you want to see, let me know down in the comments. And again, thank you all so much for watching, leaving a like, and leaving a comment. With that being said, soar high, Pokemon Masters.
This is Ash Ketchum. You just watched a video by Birdkeeper Toby. That makes you a Pokemon Master!
As always, a massive thank you to those of you who support this channel on Patreon. You make this channel possible, and a special thank you to the big patrons of this month, the Elgator, Jedruben, and Michael Hornschuch. Thank you.